Oh, ain't it good? It's episode 85 of the Weekly Wave, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Matt Waters, and this week we have Mr. Adam Forsthoefel of the band The Grove stopping by for a quick interview. We talk about some recent difficulties in his vocal career that he's overcome, upcoming projects and shows, and just the regular bullshit. So please enjoy, drop some love in the comments, and stick around for the dates.
You got two phones?
I got two phones.
Two phones. See, I can sing, but I can hardly talk.
Man, that's crazy. Well, first off, ladies and gentlemen, Adam Forsthoefel of The Grove, thanks for coming over,
sure,
brother.
Man. Sure.
So I've known you since I was 17. Maybe you were 24, 25, just graduated from OU, and then we played. Yep. What the hell was the name of that spot?
Dude, I was thinking about that on the drive up here. I was like, oh, it's somewhere in
It's somewhere in Brown County.
in Owensville.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and it's now called the Flamingo.
Word. That sounds way more festive than what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But like, man, like that was my first bass. That was the first time someone asked me to sub for their band like that. Like, what a great way to make a friend and to get to know each other like off the bat. But yeah, so at that point, you hadn't developed this. Now what's been going on?
Oh, my voice?
Yeah.
It's off and on. It's called Muscle Tension Dysphonia.
Okay.
It sucks.
It definitely seems like a nuisance, but, so what's going on physically?
The mid-range of your voice, the talking part of your voice is affected.
Interesting.
So, watch, fun trick. We grew up Catholic, the priest, the oh no 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 no, they can talk. I can talk fine when I do the priest thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
So it's like, so when you engage the diaphragm and you speak from that part of your voice, is it an airflow thing or is it a muscular engagement thing with
it's both.
Okay.
And I will say what is it? Like if I play a gig, I'll be up there like, I'll have a beer. And they're like, are you the band tonight? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you the singer? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, good luck. I'm like, don't worry.
They're fucking shocked. They're like, there's
it's
no
shock.
way. Yeah.
It's a shock factor, dude.
Well, but that's the amazing thing about it is because this has not stopped you. Yeah, it's a deterrent, but it's honest, man. And we all deal with so many weird physical things that come along with the music, whether you're someone that gets arthritis early on in life, someone that has any kind of shoulder injury. It's like we have our art pulled away from us in very odd ways as life goes on, whether that be your time or whatever you're doing. But you're adamant as someone that adamant. Oh man, okay,
I thought you were saying my name. Like, you're Adam. I'm like, okay, I am.
You are Adam.
Right.
But like your persistence in doing this and not letting it stop you allows people to reapproach, ailments or quote unquote a handicap or something that gives you a kick, but it's something to get over in life, and I really admire that, man.
I mean, dude, to be honest, playing gigs, you know how it feels being up there, and nothing's better.
Yeah,
nothing.
Truly.
It's a drug.
Yeah.
Being on stage and when the band's playing right and you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And part of it is I can sing because a lot of it is mental. It's weird, but here, let me try it. Like I got to run to keep from hiding. See, I can sing, but I kind of get back to my voice. It's a whole crazy thing, man.
That's so interesting too, because like you do hit similar ranges, but the approach of it is so different. Now, I'm sure you've gone to speech therapists and things like that.
Tons.
And what's that experience like? Do they have many folks that are vocalists that have trouble with their speaking voice?
Not really. No, they bring the interns in. They bring them. Look at this.
Let's poke his neck.
Yeah, I can tell you the first time I had this, it was 2 years ago, and I went to UC Health Hospital. And I was like, what's going on? I can hardly talk. And they're like, huh, okay. And I was like, but I can sing. And I start singing, and then all of a sudden, 30 doctors like, hey, get on. They're calling people down the hallway like, get in here, look at this.
Look at this dude's mouth. What's going on with this?
Yeah, man, it's weird.
It's so odd, too, because, like, afterwards, what was it like to redevelop your singing voice, knowing that, like, in between songs, like, it's time to rest, Like, what was it like to adapt your show to this?
I don't know. A lot of it is when you're playing shows, you're kind of on autopilot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're kind of like, when a gig's good,
Yeah.
you get off stage and you're like, I don't even know what happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just felt good,
Yeah,
and that's how it
hours
is.
flew by, and it's just like you were just there for that, you know?
Mm-hmm. So I had this voice thing come up, and I was like, "We gonna, guys in the band, we gonna cancel a gig?" I'm like, "Nah, let's wing it. Screw it. I want to play. I don't care. Let's do it." And the show went fine.
That's awesome.
I was like, "What the hell just happened?" And since then, when I play gigs, I'm all right.
Yeah. Now, you said it might be somewhat of like a perception thing, and it might be somewhat of like is this something that's hereditary? Does anyone else in your family have a similar ailment? Or do you think this is just something that's appeared in your mind and in your body, and it's just maybe it's temporary, maybe it's not?
It's temporary. It has to be. Yeah. But more importantly, it's stress-induced. It's kind of like if you ever have people that their back hurts and they're like, "Oh, my back hurts all the time." You're like, "Dude, you're probably just stressed." And where your stress centralizes, it's different on people.
Yeah. And man, I am a big believer in that school of thought as well. With a lot of the yoga practices I do, they talk about the ways that you harbor resistance in your body. It's like I was listening to this YouTube channel that I follow called Yoga with Tim, and he was talking about if they put you under anesthesia and they tried to move your hips this way and move your hips this way, your body isn't carrying the resistance that you do in your conscious life. And it's like yes, there are physical restrictions as to what your body can do, but there's also a lot of physical restrictions of what your mind can do for your body and when it engages the vehicle. It's like if someone got behind the wheel of a nice car and they don't know how to use certain functions of it.
Yeah.
And it's crazier when these things appear later in life and they're tools you've already been using, and now you learn to reuse those tools.
True. And a lot of this voice thing is actually, they check my throat, it's fine. It's mental. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So what kind of changes in your daily life have you brought about to try to...
I've tried meditation, you name it. A lot of it is retraining my voice. But I'll get there, and I need to just... It's weird. It's the first time in my life where the harder I try to fix it, the worse it gets.
That's really fascinating. What a powerful sentiment, though, where it's like we're all just living our lives here, and there's a certain point where as much as you're in control of where this might go and what you might do with this, you need to surrender certain aspects of this to just what they are. Especially when you're someone like yourself who's managing, being a present parent and partner, being an employee for a company that asks a lot of you, and also being a band leader and a frontman and having this yearning outside of both those things. It's like
you should pick a different career too. You could do two jobs, like a therapist over here.
The last thing I would ever want to do is find out how short my attention span is in some kind of corporate setting, because
It's fair.
Yeah, it's such a blessing to get to do this and to have gotten to do this for so long. And now I'm learning to better monetize and run my business, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. But I really learn a lot from my friends who do have that balance, who do turn it off and go to work and put down their instrument. People that are much better than I am are working 9-to-5 jobs out there because they don't want to monetize their passion. I heard a trumpet player on a gig with me the other day. She goes, I've already monetized one of my passions. This thing is just for me. And I was like, that's heavy. That's heavy to respect your joys so much that you'd say, I'm not going to let something that I don't place value in, like the monetary side of this, take over something that makes me happy. That's awesome.
True.
Yeah.
And part of it for me is splits. For example, guys in my band go, "Oh, let's play weddings." I'm like, dude, who's going to be like and now table 5 can come up and get their meal. You know, that's going to be me. And I'm like, because the other guys aren't going to do it.
Because you don't want to do it, dude. I can imagine Jeff doing it once and then being like, never again, Adam.
Never again. And so but that's where the money is. But I'm like, you're not playing music anymore. You're doing a whole lot more. Respect for them that do it.
But that is, it is kind of like the job side of this. Like I take a lot of calls with corporate clients, and I talk to them about what their hopes and dreams are for this event. And I'm over here thinking, like, what the fuck do you want? Like, you booked a band, and you're telling me all this crazy shit, and that's fine, because that's the stuff I really get paid for. And then I run something like the songwriter night, where I take home $40 if I didn't drink that $40 worth. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, cool. I know that there's different things on both sides of the gamut that I need to be open to, and like. An emceeing a wedding is definitely at the bottom of that totem. Like, I do that.
It's hard.
I was emceeing a friend of mine's wedding, like a childhood friend. This girl was the first person to have lunch with me in college. Like, this is an OG homie.
Okay.
Rode the grade school bus together and wanted to make sure I had a good first day at Xavier's. Like, this is a friend. And everyone else in this band hates emceeing. She's like, Matt, would you MC this thing? And I was like, I really don't. And she's like, please. No.
I know.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to, yeah.
And then you get your WWE voice out, and you get ready to rumble. You know what I mean? Like, you let loose. You know,
like, I didn't pick this job.
You bring up table 6 with some gusto, motherfucker.
Right,
dude.
It's true. You're right.
Yeah. Well, so how does this world of frontman and songwriter affect your role as a parent and as an employee, and these other things you do, like?
You're busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're busy, man. You're busy. You're freaking really busy.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I'm addicted to playing.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I don't care. It's a confession. But
it's good. It's good to confess.
I love playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. In fact, if I haven't played a gig in a while, or I haven't picked up the guitar in a while, I get in like a bad mood. It's like I get a little bit slumpy, and then I'll play a gig, and I'll be like, that was it. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
And so it's more like, it goes beyond once sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I just need to do this. Mm-hmm. I love it, though. Yeah. I just love playing.
I think so many people need to hear that, like the yearning inside of ourselves, the things that keep us up at night, like, they don't have to be a bad thought. They could be a great hobby, but it takes some crazy to get out there and do it. Like, what was the age of your first gig? When did that light bulb turn on?
Oh, good points. When I first, I bought a guitar, and me and my buddies at the time were like, we're gonna play the Back in Black at the talent show. Okay, we're in 7th grade. I didn't know how to play yet.
That's sick.
I didn't know. It was 2 months later. I was like, well, we gotta learn how to play this song then. And so I've been gigging since I've been playing.
That's awesome.
So
how'd that first talent show go?
It exists. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, cool.
I need to find it.
If I find it, I'm gonna clip it into this episode.
Clip it, dude. I mean, do it. I don't care.
Yeah. So, do you love that you have something to look back and cringe at?
I mean, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. It's so truthful. It's so painful in a way that, like, it wouldn't be painful if that was your peak. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the coolest thing. And some people are like that. Some people are pulling up YouTube videos of their 7th grade talent shows saying, like, I used to be the shit. And then there's people like you who watch that only to get fired up and go back and learn something new and stay up at night.
I dressed up in my Catholic school uniform and shorts.
You angused it?
I angusted it, dude. I totally 100% had the top hat, and I was doing this.
Dude, that's hilarious.
And it's just like, I'm just watching myself. I'm like, dude, you're ridiculous. Yeah. Like, what are you thinking?
But, it's a kid trying to learn what it means to be a rock star. And, like, and these days, especially on your days on, you're a rock star, and that's a crazy feeling. So tell me about your December show that you were going to plug first, and I got a different show I got to ask about.
We're playing a Christmas show.
Oh, this is a Christmas benefit, right? Correct. Is this at Bogart's?
No, it's at OTR Stillhouse.
Nice. I've heard great things. There? No, I've not.
Me neither, but it looks, dude. I'm like, well, me neither. We're gonna find out.
It was like a moment of like anticipation and hype.
Me neither.
Definitely have.
No, but it looks freaking cool.
I've heard it's a great sound system. I've heard the owner, whoever does the booking, is delightful, and I've heard they have good engineers. So I'm like, sign me up. At some point, I'll get in there.
That's it. That's all you need.
And this is an annual event you do, right? One of your annual events. It's fucking crazy to wrap my head around, dude. Like, just the amount of logistics you put into the Grove shows.
The March one.
Wait, I want to talk about the Rock and Revival for a lot of reasons, but you know, like most importantly, it's from what we were just talking about. Like, this is a moment where you're a band that maybe on the great nights you get 40 to 70 people to come out. Like I'm in that category too, where it's like it's not like we pull the city into a room for the night of their lives. We're still local, grinding, trying to kick ass. So instead of turning the spotlight on you, you turn the spotlight on our scene and one of our best venues in a cause that is super personal. Something that most people would choose just to have keep them up at night. But instead, you've turned it into this glorious night of celebration and moving forward. And then you walk into the sanctuary at 11 o'clock or whenever that happens, and the Grove is up there, and they're the fucking rock stars. Like, it is, it is such a cool moment, man. And as someone that's you know been around you for long enough to see moments where you're ripping their faces off, those are the moments you live for with your friends. Like, that is the coolest thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. We talk about this show now like a year in advance. Because we finish the set, we're like, what the hell are we going to play next year? Like, that's literally the first thing that comes up.
You have to turn over, you know? And like, the amount of... I'm sure it gets somewhat easier year in and year out. But you also add more to it. You make it better. So it's not like you're just riding on the same game plan, you know? And like, in guys like me, it's an honor when you get asked, you know? And when the years that I've chosen to opt out for other gigs, a wedding gig, a corporate gig, whatever that is, those pictures come out, and I feel pissed. So I'm not missing it anymore.
Don't do it, man. March 11th.
March 11th, baby, at the Southgate Revival House, motherfuckers. Please get your tickets. Are they on sale already?
Not yet.
Okay.
No,
I'm sure Morella's like
January
chill
1st.
Okay, cool. So how much of the lineup do you have decided?
Let me look.
Okay.
I got it pretty much set.
Also, I'm going to run and get some more coffee. You want some more coffee?
I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Why
Am
don't
I
you...
about to talk right now? Be like, hey, everyone, I'm alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the lineup.
Give them the truth. Walk them down that lineup really quick, and I'm going to be as fast as possible. I don't have shoelaces in these shoes, so I may eat shit.
Well, Matt Schneider's not actually on the lineup. No, I'm kidding. He's there. So we got the Grove, Jim Trace and the Makers. We got Never Setting Suns. Green Light Morning, 90 Proof Twang, See You and the Funnies. Noah Smith. Here Come Here. Elementary Liberty Project. Woo! And Lemon Sky.
Dude, I didn't know
Sunday
Lemon Sky
Drive
was still gigging.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised the amount of times I bring bands out that haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
Like, do you know Here Come Here?
I do not know Here Come Here.
I'll listen to them.
Okay.
They're good.
Is there a particular project of theirs you'd say listen to, or are you just a fan of the whole thing?
You know what? Let me look. Because I like, we did their CD release show on,
Nice.
like a few years ago. And they all kind of moved away from each other. And I was like, guys, just get back together for the event. Like, we love it.
Yeah, man.
And they're doing it. So,
Well, what a crazy testament to, like, there's a lot of people who have done this long enough and grown frustrated, and, like, there's somewhere between what you and I are doing, where it's like I'm balancing a real job and this band, or I'm in a ton of projects, and some of them kind of fizzle out, and you just find these amazing people have now stepped back and they're not doing it. It takes someone giving a little kick in the ass and saying like, hey, we want you on this lineup, you know? And they come out and they have the show and the light bulb goes back on and suddenly our scene is back to full capacity. We're pushing harder. We're providing better entertainment for people, and that gets more listeners out. Like, there's so many people that are going to come to that night and find a band in town that they would have never known existed, nor would they ever go to a local show. They are there to see their uncle play. Like, that is a testament from one of my friends who goes there to see her uncle play at the Rock and Revival. But she finds out all these other bands. She's like, these are dope. You know?
Yeah.
Like, is it a 20-band bill?
Yep.
That's sick.
Bands. About 20 bands. Yeah.
The load in, load out is awful.
It is pretty bad.
Which is like, we need backlines in every single room, but who wants to watch their kit get worked on like that all day, you know?
Plus, with 20 bands, you get that one band that's like, I'm using my kit, I'm using my stuff. And
Yes.
you're like, ugh,
Exactly.
all right.
And it's like there's only one room you can put the control on that, and that's the sanctuary, because the Grove kit's going to be up there with the drum head on. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, so how do you feel when you walk into a place and they're like, we got a house amp? You play through the house amp.
Depends on the gig.
Okay, yeah.
But,
and the amp, probably.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a direct in, like, you know, dude, I am so anti solid state amps.
Really?
Yeah, I hate them.
Why solid state, though? Like, there's great solid state amps out there.
Tell me one. Tell me one.
The JC120 you were just playing through. The Roland that Frusciante uses for all the clean tones on the Chili Pepper stuff.
That's a good point.
Great amp, but I hear you. It's like when a solid state amp pretends to be a tube amp, there's something so obviously fickle about it. It's like...
You also just blew my mind.
Really?
He plays out of a solid state?
For a lot of things. There's definitely like certain tones that are a tube amp. And like that, I keep two options in that closet. I keep this big JC120 for like really front of the mix clean tones where it's very like round, but it's a definite shape. Hold on one sec. I don't want to get a phone call and get interrupted on that video. But like it puts it more at the front of the mix, and you really get the percussive side of like a Strat or something like that. And on like a 335, it's great for clean tones, but most of the time I don't love the bite of it. I do love the bite with that weird chorus, like that Dimension C. When you push a distortion through that, it's gritty and weird and fat.
Yeah, I mean, you just blew my mind. I thought that like Frusciante was Mr. Tube Amp.
Yeah, no, he was definitely using like Under the Bridge and Scar Tissue, and I think the Snow intro are all that JC120. Same amp. I got the little brother version over here if you ever want to borrow it.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah, dude, you will love that. Well, so like
AC Roland, huh?
And you've always been a DeVille guy, correct?
Used to be.
Okay. Did you get the one of the 68s?
The purchase of the DeVille was a mistake.
What?
Yeah, so I bought a solid state from like Guitar Center for like $200.
Yeah.
Like in like 6th grade or something, right? You know, and I was like, it's 100 watts. I'm like, it's not loud enough. So I go and I buy a DeVille, and I'm like, 100 watts? And I turn it to 2, and I'm like, holy crap, this thing, and it goes to 12.
Well, I remember you having an attenuator on your DeVille. And like, that was the first time I'd seen someone with an attenuator. So like, I was super into the idea. Bored as, kids in an Owensville or whatever bar. And this thing is pushing heat. So that was your first real amp. Like, that was the gigger.
Now I have a deluxe reverb. The clean tone on that is 10 times better.
Yeah. Well, do you think that's a speaker thing, or do you think it's a circuitry thing?
Oh, you're going beyond me, man.
Yeah, it's just like it's something in there. Well, I see so many guys.
I didn't even know that they used a friggin' JC Roland and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
You'll love the JC life, but it's only good for certain things. And like they make a smaller version. So there's the JC120, which is in the closet, which is the 2-speaker, and I think they're 12s. That would explain the 120, but I could be wrong on that. Then there's the JC77, which is like 2 little 10s, which I love gigging on that amp. They take effects really well, especially through the effects loop. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, there's also something new where it's like a smaller version of that also sounds fantastic. And I think they're 8-inch speakers, which is pretty neat. But like...
Tiny.
Yeah, there's something about... What'd you say you got?
A deluxe.
Dude.
Deluxe reverb.
Now,
Hot Rod series.
Do you keep the reverb on the tank rolling, or do you use your board reverb?
Board.
Okay. So what do you use for a reverb?
Ocean's 11.
No, okay.
No
wonder.
You ever seen that
I've
one?
never played with one. That's a Strymon, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. That the greatest world of reverb.
No, it's harmonics.
Oh,
But Strymon is the dream.
Yeah, really? Well, what's the Strymon then? Is it the
Ocean's 11.
Man. See, I'm out of the analog pedal
I Google
game.
Ocean's 11, and they're like, George Clooney. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's the movie. Okay,
But it is a pedal.
Oh, also
Electroharmonics.
Man, Electroharmonics makes such beautiful stuff. That's an interesting looking pedal. So as a tap tempo, that's like a lever on there?
No tap.
Oh, okay. No, I'm thinking of the wrong pedal. You ever seen those where it's like, it's a tap tempo, but it looks like, it looks like a classic telephone. It's a trippy look.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So did you
Strymon is the
A/B?
best.
Yeah, Strymon's definitely the best. I think it's the Blue Sky by Strymon. That's their
That's
flagship
it.
reverb.
It's like $500.
Yeah.
Like I
Get
know.
used from a Nashville church guy who got out the scene. You're gonna find one, for sure. Those guys are
Sure. They always use it.
they always use them and they always sell them because they go to a different reverb and then they come back. Those hoes, they're just getting played.
That's funny.
Now, did you A/B those reverbs or like what drove that choice?
The options for one that I can turn it off and on.
Nice.
So
when
pedal
you jump
effects,
delay,
I'm not gonna run back and
yeah,
knob it. Right, it's right there.
I'm just knobbing it.
Yeah,
that's
the term. Knobbing it, right? Run back. I just made that up,
dude. I'm gonna hold on to that.
But I watched CCR play a live concert a few days ago.
Yeah, that new documentary.
Yeah, it's good.
Mind blown. So good.
But dude, John Fogerty, he plays with the amp right here. Mm-hmm. Instead of a foot pedal, he's playing. It'll go like this.
Yeah,
and I'll be freaking hitting it. I'm like, dude, get a pedal board.
Dude, my favorite thing about that too is he also has like one of like the wound cables. Mm-hmm. So like he's legit like 3 or 4 feet off the amp, and he's just pulling on these things, and they're so large and so heavy that's projecting for the entire room. But I want to know how they got such a glorious mix from this whole thing with the technology they're using. Like these guys are walking around London or somewhere in like Sweden, whatever they're doing, and they're all hardwired to each other with mics, and they have like this great like
I know.
That was killing me the entire time. But like the Royal Albert stuff, they're pushing this room so hard, and they
with
still
the
have
amps behind them.
Yes,
and he's standing there right there, and he's just turning it. And I'm like, does he have earplugs on? I don't think they get earplugs.
No, dude, he's just getting his world rocked for sure.
Right?
And then behind the drummer, there's like massive subs. There's like classic massive subs. And I'm sure it's not a ton of low end, but man, I had the flu when I watched that, and I had taken like a bunch of NyQuil, and I was a little baked, and and I'm sitting in the bathtub watching this. It was the most glorious way to watch a concert I've ever experienced. I was
Meanwhile,
on
John's are the wah.
Exactly.
And
I got headphones on, and I am rocking.
That is funny.
It's the best I've ever felt with the flu, for sure.
Good point.
So we were just talking about watching a bunch of like Hendrix footage as a kid. Like, where were you getting footage that inspired you as a kid? When did you get into that game?
YouTube, man.
Okay.
I mean, I just would Google YouTube. And,
could you watch bad quality stuff? Did you not care? It was like as long as it's Hendrix.
I don't care. I was just nerding out, because here's the thing: people go. It's like people that talk about live music. They're like, oh, the singing's not as good. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's the point. It's human.
Yeah.
When you go back to the 60s, they're like, oh, the guitar tone sucks. I'm like, but they didn't have much to deal with, and you have to put things in perspective. And when you do that, it's a lot cooler.
For sure. And like you said, when it's human, when it's raw and gritty, like especially when you point like that point in time, like there's things that we evolved on that at the time were so sonically groundbreaking that your perception of what is even making that sound is nil. You have no idea how they got that guitar tone or how they got this vocal tone. And like, not only the way they tracked, but the way those guys practiced. It was like, we're going to sound like this live, so the arrangement must be done. That's what kind of blew my mind the most. It's like these harmonies, John's lead lines. I didn't know John Fogerty was playing all these lead lines at the time.
Exactly. He's doing all of it.
And so like the call and response of the vocal to the guitar all comes from one person. That's why it's so brilliant. That's why it's so intertwined. Like, born on the bayou. Yep. It's so grooving, and it's so methodical all the way through. And it's because it's 4 guys saying we're getting this right on this take, playing our parts. It's magical, man.
Mm-hmm. And I would argue there's 2 guitar players that changed the way guitar's ever been played. Mm-hmm. Hendrix, like he came from space. Like we had, before Hendrix, listen to like George Harrison solos. Mm-hmm. Like, they're really calm and simple.
Yeah.
And Hendrix comes out there with this, like, crank and this noise with this, like, and he's messing with the whammy bar, and people are probably like, what the heck is going on?
That's,
Yeah,
man, what a great point to make. Like, especially through George Harrison, where, like, people weren't aware of the chaos you could get out of a guitar. And then this guy played the chaos. He was a symphony of it, and like I'd never heard these things about him fixing his tuning and shit like that. It's like,
oh yeah,
that's so raw and so animalistic, the way that like he's standing in front of an amp, two Marshall stacks, pushing a super lead or something like that, or super PA, whatever those amps were. And the interaction you get in the space because of that, like no one had heard that, and to be in the room for that, it was like a full explosion. So who's number 2?
It's Eddie Van Halen.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I like him more.
Yeah.
I like Hendrix more, but in a sense, Eddie, it's not like a cheesy 80s guitar, he invented that.
Yeah.
He is responsible for the 80s guitar.
That's interesting. And like, we say cheesy is like an understanding, in post of what the 80s were. But Eddie never was that. Eddie was not only a pioneer, but a true lunatic, like an audible lunatic. Like he's this piano-oriented kid that came here and said, I'm going to apply these arpeggios, and I'm going to play with 2 hands on the neck. I had just watched a Randy Rhoads documentary that's on Amazon Prime.
Too.
So good. And I didn't know that these 2 guys are both living in L.A. at the time, and they're in Quiet Riot and a Young Van Halen. And it's a race to the top, and they're honest to God neck and neck. And there's this awesome moment. Randy Rhoads is teaching guitar at his mother's music school, and he's also playing these bands, and he's the best there is. Yeah, I'd say he's probably better than Eddie when it comes to technicality, but Eddie did beat him there in a lot of ways. But he's talking about his students coming in saying, I want to learn this Van Halen trick. Like,
that's got to kill you.
So, but like the brilliant thing was he would learn it. He would learn exactly how Eddie did it to teach it to one of these kids, but now it was in his bag. Where it's like, if Eddie's not over there learning Randy's parts, where are you going to get this from? There's also a moment in the documentary where they say that Randy Rhoads had a picture of Eddie on his wah-wah pedal. So when he'd kick on his wah-wah, he'd kick Eddie in the dome.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, and like they were friends. Like they were cordial with each other. But like there's definitely a rivalry that fueled that guitar coming out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, because it came from space.
Yeah, so that what a great expression for it. It's like, it's a gift. And if there's anything that all of us are trying to do as songwriters and musicians, like, it's channel that muse from space, that little bit of crazy, like the summation of this blew my mind and this blew my mind, and when they collide together, I came out here, and no one had seen that before. Like, we all want to be in that blue ocean.
Have you ever listened to early Chicago?
No.
Oh, dude, Terry Kath, the guitar player.
I've heard that Terry Kath is someone that I should pay more attention to, and like has great lines.
He is the Randy Rhoads to Jimi Hendrix. Like he was the other guy.
Yeah, that's crazy to me because like many people have told me go listen to Chicago because the guitar player's a maniac. But besides like 25 or 6 to 4, like something
right? Or like it's cheesy, or what's the later stuff?
Yeah. Well, like Saturday in the Park or something like that.
Yeah,
or
Saturday.
What an awesome song.
But imagine like Hendrix if he lived on and maybe writing that kind of stuff. Like, who knows?
Interesting. That's a great point of like, what would Hendrix have done as an older man when the Doobie Brothers are coming out with Reelin' in the Years? Which like
that's not Doobie Brothers.
Oh my God, Steely Dan.
It is Steely Dan. Yeah.
If I don't edit that out and you talk shit about it, I'll hate you forever, people.
You're good.
No, so, God damn it, Matt. No, it's crazy to think of what would our heroes have done if we didn't lose them, kind of a thing. I'd say that's a good argument as to what makes him that, though.
For sure, like, dude. I mean, Hendrix could suck.
Yeah.
Later, he could have.
Yeah, he could have fallen apart. It's like watching Muhammad Ali at the end. It's like it's a mark of sadness. Like the day that he gets knocked out in a fight, you feel lost. The day that Hendrix drops a song where you're like, this is garbage. When did Hendrix get trap hats or something like that? Something just like not for him.
He never even had a chance to sell out.
Yeah.
Right?
What a great point to make.
He never got a shot.
Kurt Cobain gets called a sellout right near the end, and we find out that he was not in that kind of a way. But it's like for that scene to see somebody on Rolling Stone, like they were somewhat pissed that you took their house band and you put them up there.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain hated fame.
Yeah, that's a hard perception for me to grab.
Right? I'm like, what's going on, dude? You're playing guitar for a living. You're living like you're playing for big crowds. Like what what are you mad about?
Yeah.
You want my job? We'll switch.
Exactly.
We'll switch.
Well,
Like,
for people that want that so bad and they're sitting here saying, like, I would love to be at that status, you can't imagine losing your mind there. But I think the truth is we all lose our mind wherever we're at. And sometimes the stakes are higher, so the fall from grace is definitely going to be harder. Mm-hmm. Got to have mercy on our heroes in that kind of a way.
I mean, on top of it, he clearly wanted fame. He wanted success. He went on tour before he made it.
Yeah.
He signed the contract. We're going to make you a star. Like, what?
You sound a little bitter towards Kirk.
But I mean,
okay.
but I think people give him too much credit for being like an ultimate hipster. Like, he wasn't totally DIY.
Yeah. But, it's different for us looking at them as a band that gets their T-shirts sold at Target. When even when he was alive, that was not happening. Like it was the zeitgeist,
True.
but it wasn't commercialized in the way that we know it to be, and he never knew it to be that. So I see what you're saying. Like the last thing I want is someone that's like, I'm too good for you to listen to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm just here. I feel like Oasis had that kind of an attitude too, where it's just like where they knew they were the biggest band in the world, but they were too cool to be, that in some ways. And maybe that I'm misspeaking on that.
It worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked. People like that attitude to some extent. People like not only exclusive, but like better than you in some ways. It's hard.
It was a fresh approach from the grunge. Mm-hmm. The grunge is like, I hate fame, everything sucks. And then Oasis is like, I'm a rock star. This is amazing. This is the best thing ever. And people are like, yeah. It was a fresh outcome.
Yeah, but maybe Chris Cornell is a good person to look at where like he went from this grunge underground scene to being a timeless rock star that we always respected and loved for different reasons, but of the same upbringing as those guys. And like there's something about like end of his life Chris Cornell, like where he does like Nothing Compares to You by Prince, or he does a couple other covers, or like his James Bond theme is phenomenal. Like just such a true composer who works so hard to develop their mind that they superseded their genre, and never became a sellout of grunge, pushing out songs that sounded like it's what you would want to be back in the 90s. It's like, no, this is new Chris Cornell.
He's kind of how do you put it, a chameleon.
Yeah.
Right? Like David Bowie, Beck.
Mm-hmm. Beck, I'm just getting into Beck for the first time.
Beck is a chameleon. Well, the problem is people don't get into Beck because he doesn't fit a genre. Mm-hmm. Only musicians like Beck. Because they're like, you have to talk about what album.
Yeah.
You got like folk Beck, then you got like pop Beck.
But he does have a couple of those songs in like the category of like untouchable hits. Like I remember, I brought this up to one of my guitar playing mentors, and I was ashamed of it. But there's a vast catalog of music that Guitar Hero put in my life for the first time. And I was forever changed on that. It's not like he's shaming me on that.
What came out when I was in 7th grade? School of Rock.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like
I was like, dude, I want to be on School of Rock. You know what I mean? Like, now it's cheesy, but that year that came out, I dressed up like Angus Young. Yeah. Went on stage, basically wore what Jack Black wore, like.
And I would say it's not cheesy. Like it's one of the greatest for a reason. And I think like that's Jack. Like Jack Black is a chameleon in such a different way. He's so adamantly himself, but you can plug him into any situation. It's like Shallow Hal to School of Rock to this crazy Tenacious D character, which is like a full form. Like, do you like Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say
they're cheesy, and it's making fun of rock.
Yeah,
like it's like so extreme.
I mean, just the concept of a cock push-up is the most impressive thing I've ever seen in cinema.
The fact that they wrote that song and put it out there.
He does not need. Dude, Dave Grohl plays on that album. I never knew that. That's so gnarly.
Yeah. Well, what I love about Jack Black and Tenacious D is that what they like only play acoustic guitar, and they're like, we are so great. Like,
we're so metal and we're so great. Yeah, we're so heavy for two dudes with acoustic guitars.
They're like the Beavis and Butthead of rock.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're kind of Beavis and Butthead. Like,
you kind of nailed that in such like a great different way. What if there was I know no one here knows Mike Judd, but one day, if things go really well, this Mike Judd, the guy who animates Beavis and Butthead, who wrote it, you can make a Tenacious D episode of Beavis and Butthead and animate those characters.
For sure.
And it'd be so excellent and on brand because they're such metalheads. You just came up with $1 million idea.
I mean, it is Beavis and Butthead. You know, like, imagine their apartment.
Yeah.
Right? It's just covered in, like, old pizza boxes.
And Metal Gear. It's like...
They don't care about, like, anything but, like, just hanging out and partying, watching metal songs and bands.
Man, that makes me think of... were you a Guitar Player magazine kid? Did you like...
Okay. For sure.
Were there any issues that stood out to you? Like, that took off the rack and changed your life?
Believe it or not, Frusciante. Even though I didn't know what kind of friggin' amp he played.
Dude, that doesn't mean you don't love him. That doesn't mean you're not a fan of his playing. But no, it's interesting though. It's like there's things that we assume are rules that our heroes break discreetly, and that kind of changes our approach. It's like one thing that I learned about Prince that has forever fucked me up is all of his guitar parts are recorded direct into the board.
Huh?
No amp, no pedals, no amp. You are hearing his hands and a Telecaster with 2 knobs and 3 switches. And he gets some of the best tone you've ever heard. You know, Black Dog by Led Zeppelin is recorded direct into the board. And it's just gained to hell. It's like some of the greatest distortions we ever heard had nothing to do with the speaker in a box, you know, with one of our favorite names on it. It just had to do with the right kind of nasty, you know? And like, that's crazy.
Like Boss pedals, they do not want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like what they don't want to hear. Like, no, it's us.
Man, that makes... what's the Wazacraft thing about? Like, we had these pedals...
What?
You ever seen that? So, like, all the Boss pedals have now come out with a W-A-Z-A, Wazacraft line, which I think is like... I believe Boss pedals are made in Japan, and I think it's like a new evolution of classic pedals. But, like, they're coming out with, like, new Dimension Cs, that chorus pedal, but it's the Wazacraft. Or they came out with the Blues Driver, but that version. And I really want to understand what this evolution is like. Are you just trying to stay in the game, or have you run out of ideas and you're just relabeling shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes me angry as a consumer.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it, dude, guitar is like, they're hurting.
Yeah.
Because people are like, oh, no one's playing guitar. I'm like, no one's buying new guitars. Like Gibson.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a 1959 Gibson. They don't want a 2022 Gibson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's that mean for their overhead of like, okay, now you're a brand that has like major output some years and not so major output other years. So you try to make 68 reissues or 58 reissues and try to nail these guitars and have huge margins on them. Well, actually, maybe you're not even making that much money if it comes from the custom shops or anything like that. But guitars are so weird to me, man. Like, I would never buy a guitar offline because there's something about what it tells you once it gets in your hand that, like, this is right or this is not right.
Me too. I'll never buy a guitar online.
Yeah. What was the quickest gel you've ever had with a guitar?
The ES335. So I went to Guitar Center. No plan to buy anything. I was like, I was in Kentucky, just like
at the Florence Guitar Center.
Yeah,
bang bang. That's a good guitar center, man.
And I was doing something over there, like buying like shoes or you know what I mean, something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just pop in, and I come home with a ES335. I was like, what? I didn't even plan to buy a guitar.
Dude, like a satin cherry. You know what is it? 2014, 2015.
Yeah, 15. It's new. People, and the thing is, this is gonna sound crazy. A lot of people say, I know my voice, sorry.
You're fine,
people
no,
say, you know, like, oh, I want to buy a guitar that's broken in from the 70s. I'm like, no, I want to break that shit in myself. Which it sounds crazy, right?
Yeah. But no, it's a great point. There's something really intimate about taking a guitar from wood that barely understands itself to something that's sat in your car on cold and hot days and been played on, sweat on, change the strings. Like once you wear out your first pair of frets, you know there's something special about going through a set of frets and putting some new ones on the thing. And here's your guitar back to life. But like you got in the trenches with that thing, man. That's really, really.
Like think about that. Like older musician at a bar who's playing like a. Like a 1950 Strat, and you're like, oh, damn, he's had that since he was, you know, like, I want to buy it, and I want to be that guy, that old man who's like, oh my God, he's got a 2015, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, to
that
be the
sounds
original
crazy.
owner of something, that's so different. Well, it's cool that, like, it's a classic guitar, but they still do make really great ones. Like, I always wanted to get the Chris Cornell 335 that's in, like, the, I forget what you would call that green, but it's like a satin green, and it had, like, Gretsch-looking pickups. It was a gnarly piece.
Sure.
But that guitar, like I was telling you, I bought this from a religious brother that worked at my high school. And I wasn't smart enough to be in any of this guy's classes. We just knew each other from playing guitar at Mass together. And the first time I saw that, like, my jaw dropped, and I had to play it. So before the Mass, I would sneak out of a class, and I'd go kick it with him. And I just noodle on this thing. And he always had flat wounds on it, so it sounded weird. And all these Roland amps, all of them are his. All of them were things that I
Who
either...
is this guy?
Dude,
man.
he was a hoarder, you know? Like, he was
That's
a true
awesome,
collector.
bro.
He had beautiful stuff. The Dimension C pedal was his. Like, I inherited so much equipment from this person, and I know he was the original owner of most of it, but he was playing first position cowboy chords for the Mass and for high school
Cowboy
musicals.
chords? Is that what you call them?
Cowboy chords, like C
the
and D.
open and
Exactly.
I've never heard that term, cowboy chords.
Yeah, man, just like your blockies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, like, I see his wear at the top of the neck, and then I see my wear. Like, I love to play in B. I love to sit in that section. So the camaraderie of time on this instrument, like, I put his name on the nameplate because, like, that's his guitar in my mind.
That's
It always
cool.
will be. But it's an intimacy that I still get to share with a friend who is not here, but I think about them every time I play that thing. Like, that desk in there that I do all my repairs on is full of flat wound strings that I inherited from this guy, and I'll never put them on because, boy, do I hate flat wounds. But every once in a while...
Okay. What is a flat wound string, really?
So,
like, you'd be surprised. I don't know gear as much as I should.
well,
Right?
I think that's a testament to how much you play, though. And, like,
Yeah.
you know, you and many other folks that are like my peers, my friends in town, when you sound like yourself, that's the ultimate goal. And then when you sound better and better, now you found someone that has the crazy. Like, Noah Witherspoon's one of these guys that has recently just torn my head up. And he plays his ass off, but he sounds like him. It's like, or Marco Sastry of the Bluebirds. Like, there's killers in town, and you're in that category, which is like, no, I like hearing him do his thing. And I don't care how he got there with the equipment, even though I like seeing a new guitar or something. But a flat wound is like, I think you relate to like a gut string. You know, strings on a guitar used to be made from the gut of an animal, and you pull it wide, and it is one piece, so it has this very mellow tone to it. Whereas round wound strings is like, it's like your high E string, but your low E string has these wraps around it. So it's an internal string with bands so that it'll resonate at lower frequencies. So like the bottom end of a piano is going to have these thick ass round wounds, and they're bright because they have these two interactive metals to them, whereas the round wound is flat. It's one string, so it has none of like the presence. It has like almost like a George Benson-y kind of vibe, where it's like smooth.
I want to see one of these strings. You have a ton.
So
Like,
I'll
see
give you a
this.
pack and see what you think of them.
I mean, I'll try it.
And think of my man Brother Lord when you do it. It's a weird experience. I keep him on my Jazz Master. It's also his Jazz Master, and that's the one thing I keep him on. But my pickups are all fucked up, so I got to bring that thing back from my apartment and spray it down and figure out what's going on in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I inherited one guitar.
Yeah.
My dad's tailor. And the funny thing is, he was like, he would like get it like put, what is it? Like you do it on your guitars. You like add the oil on it.
Oh,
like, he took care
fretboard
of it.
conditioners and things like that.
And he would get elixirs on it.
Yeah.
All that. And I was like playing it for a few years. And now it's got marks all over it. I'm like, my dad would kill me if he saw that I had all these marks on it and shit. But
honestly, what a, how long has it been since you lost your father?
5 years, almost 6 in January.
Man, there's something that I'm yet to experience, but a different kind of view of the world as you only have a parent left, or folks that have no parents left. It's a different way of seeing things.
Sure.
But to have that relationship with your dad through that instrument has got to be such an amazing thing for your heart, for your songwriting, for the second guessing of yourself of how you play when you put a mark in it. But it's like, no, that's you. That's the you
Sure.
he made. That's the you he loved. But you know, you those are the funniest sides of people you remember. It's their particularities. You know what I mean? Like Brother Lloyd, the guy who gave me that guitar. One year for Christmas, he gave me Guitar Player for Dummies, like how to play guitar for dummies. And he goes, "Trust me, you need this." And like, it's a brilliant book, but the delivery of it was so like,
Like you're a dummy.
yeah, exactly. Like, such a flat, all boy high school bullshit thing to say. Like, I'm not going to insult you, but I'm insulting you. You know, and it's like that. That's awesome. You know,
Right.
your dad's particularities to clean this thing down, and you're like, man, I got 2-year-old strings on this fucking thing. You know,
Right. I do, man. It's bad. I mean,
elixirs will last like that though.
He did. Dude, I use like the $6 Martin strings, put them on there.
I break those too often, and they're man. What's weird about elixirs too, like those wraps that you get around the string, elixirs will survive losing some of those. Like, you know, maybe this knuckle and this knuckle break off, and you'll see like it's like fret, and then you're missing string right on top of there. So you know where you're playing a lot.
Sure.
Whereas Martin's, I'll break one of those a show. You know,
Me too.
Really?
But that's part of it.
You're still rolling it.
Yeah, but I don't. But I don't want to buy elixirs. They're like $20.
But
I'm like,
but I won't break 3 sets. You know.
Maybe.
I'm not
Dude,
endorsed, so like, don't take my opinion on this.
Yeah,
There's got to be better strings than both of these, but
what kind of electric strings do you use?
I use Diodario a lot of the time.
Me too.
Really? I use this
But
EXL.
if I don't change my strings before a gig, broken
Every
string,
gig?
every gig has to be changed.
Yeah. That's Joe Bonamassa level, though. Like, you know, if you're going to be
Because
playing
I'm just
it,
freaking angry playing, I guess. I don't know.
do you have to limit your amount of gigs? Because, well, you know, like, as someone that's, you know, willing to have another job and skilled enough to have another job, it takes some of that financial stress of the gig off so you can do more, you know, great local shows and things like that. But then you have, like, okay, if we only made $50 tonight a man,
And then I
I
changed
spent
strings.
12, yeah, I spent 12 on strings, and then I drank 20 of it, and then my wife's asking why I've been gone for 12 hours. I'm like, baby, that's just the work, you know what I mean? Like,
But my argument is that how many times do you have a night out on the town for free?
absolutely,
You know? You just went out, had a night out on the town, and spent $0.
yeah. Well, and also, I would argue that playing is always better than a night on the town. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're the shit, you know, like
It's more fun, and I drink less. And,
I don't know about that. Come on,
I do.
Really?
Because if I'm having like a night out in town, it's like another
All you
beer,
do is drink,
another
yeah.
beer. If I'm playing, I'm not drinking.
yeah.
You know,
I
it's
like
like,
the progression of drinking too, because in between songs, and I feel myself, you know, taking lift off. It's like, okay, by set 3, I know when we play "Use Me" by Daddy Bill Withers, like I'm gonna be feeling it, you know.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I know what you mean for sure. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I have those shows.
Yeah.
Like, dude, in college,
You want
you know, sure, college guys. You know, when you're in college, I will say it. I drank a lot. I partied.
You went to OU, dog.
Yeah.
Like I know you did, and like that's
There's
why
a
people
gig.
go to Athens. There's
Yeah.
nothing out there, man.
Dude, there's a gig where I was playing, and halfway through the set, I don't remember. I woke up the next
Scared
day, and
moment.
I'm like, "Where's my gear? What's going on?" And they're like, "Dude, you had a great gig."
That's hilarious.
I played for another hour and a half. I don't remember it.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy what you can do on autopilot? You know,
It was total auto. But I think that's part of the voice thing. You know, I'm on autopilot.
yeah. That,
Like,
you're asking something so different of the mind, though. Like I've heard of folks that have dementia or
is that me? I'm just kidding.
what I'm doing is re-diagnosing you, Adam, because I
Right.
have credibilities that I can't bring up on the air. Like, I'm like Dr. Oz. I got a lot of
God.
titles, but no
Right.
certification.
Well, think about it. People with dementia don't know
Hey,
they have
Scott.
dementia.
Yeah. What?
Did I just blow your mind?
My
They
grandma,
don't.
My grandma
Does she
is
know?
I don't think she really understands it. It's a really interesting question. It's like I think like 51st dates where it's like you gotta watch a movie every day to remind yourself. Like no, because you don't even retain for 24 hours. It's just like it's as you go. But you know, like there's still someone so sentient on the inside. They're not operating with you on the same plane. Like and that's kind of an interesting point to drinking. Like when you're drinking with friends in a room, because you have all drifted into this new perspective, that shared experience is really special. Whereas if you kick it with your drunk friend, sober as hell, there's a disconnect.
They start pissing you off.
Yeah, they started to go into that category, or like someone that's too baked, or someone that has memory issues.
Well, the funny thing is, if you're hanging out with your friends and you're sober and they're really drunk, you're like, this is actually kind of lame.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the next day, like, if you're drunk with them, you're like, man, what an epic night.
Exactly.
It's like you, like, film yourself.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is actually not that cool.
Yeah. But I was having
You know what I mean?
This thought, like, the difference between photos and videos is there's, like, a romantic perception of the photo, and there's, like, a real objective truth to the video. So, like, think about the greatest of 70s and 80s rock shows where you're obliterated. They're probably doing a lot of liquor and a lot of cocaine. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's the era of music. But the mood is so that way that you remember it as the craziest thing you've ever experienced. And if there was a video of that, you might find out that, like, Rat wasn't the greatest 80s hair metal band or something like that. Or, like, Motley Crue wasn't that good that show. Like, there's misinformation in reality.
That's the Hendrix. Dude, there's a lot of bad Hendrix out there. Tons.
What a great thing to be able to say about your hero. Like,
he's very human.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's also great. Like, there's just, and tell me this, how the heck did they drink a bottle of liquor and go back up on stage and sing like the, hey, ma, every night? How did they do it?
Dude, I always heard this thing about, like, George Harrison got a concoction from Clapton that he got from, like, Rod Stewart or some shit. What is it? I have no idea. They don't even tell you what it is when you hear about it. But it's just like you see George
scary.
gargling something nasty. You're like, all right, word. Like, you just got to find what's right for you. Like, man, I'm amazed at how much 10 minutes of vocal warm-ups gives me 5 days of gigging. Versus if I didn't warm up one of those days, I have shot myself in the foot. Like, I have inflammation. I have tightness. I have wear on the voice and mucus and all that kind of shit. That's going to take away bits and pieces of your range. You know what I mean?
Tons. I'm learning the hard way because I got to do vocal warm-ups all the time.
Yeah. Now, once they're a part of your day, like, there's certain disciplines like that because they're visceral. I find soothing. Like, my yoga is that to me. When I'm in the shower and I'm doing all my lip trills and shit, sometimes that is what I need to step into my own skin. And when I'm lazy about it and I step out on the gig, like, not only do I have guilt about not doing it, but I'm missing the joy of being positive about the experience. You know what I mean? Like, if I enjoy warming up, it's like, ooh, you know what I mean? I'll feel fresh up here.
That's kind of what happens to like that's what happened like Motley Crue on like show 100 of their tour.
Yeah.
They like, it starts out, they kick ass, and they're all of a sudden in Oklahoma, and they're like, good night, Cleveland, we hate this. You know what I mean? Like,
they're so lost.
It happens every single rock star tour. By the end, they're like, we're done.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, imagine Elton John having, I think he just retired. I think he just played his last show. His farewell tour was 2 to 3 years. You know, I'm sure Elton did it at a pace that he liked. And I think I especially have learned that I need to have my day off after 3 days of gigging. You know, maybe 2 days of gigging. Like, if I go 4 back-to-back, then 5 through 8 are guaranteed to be hell. Like, and every once in a while, you get 8 days in a row, and that is not something to bitch about, but is something to emotionally and physically prepare for, like the athlete you have to be to do this stuff.
Sure. Yeah. There's only 16 NFL games with bye weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Like, obviously we're not playing football, but
yeah,
there's a portion of athleticism to singing.
Yeah. And it's also like, in football, you have another guy coming down the field, and he's going to be the one that hurts you. But the things that are going to hurt you are
yourself.
Sick,
screaming.
The liquor, the screaming, the lack of water, the smoke, whatever comes into play. Like, I played like an indoor smoking bar the other day, and like,
where's this?
In Florence.
Okay.
And like, and these are very nice people. I'm amazed. Like, when you have something like a smoking bar, you have people of all walks of life but they have one thing in common.
Smoke.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a very diverse group of people that are all very nice and like bring a weird energy to it because it's not a country bar, it's not a rock bar, it's not a restaurant, it's barely even a liquor bar. This is about cigarettes, you know?
It's probably so smoky.
Dude, my stuff, you know, really gets permeated by that smell. Like, I got to close my cases up and things like that.
Yeah.
Or else for days it's going to be on there. Or, you know, that 335, that case still smells like smoke because Brother Lori, you know, loves cigarettes, you know, like a lot of people did. And it's crazy when you see like an Alpine White that turned TV yellow, like a vintage guitar that has yellowed because of cigarette smoke. Like,
that's
wow,
like,
this stuff is dense.
Watch like any documentary on the 60s. Everyone looks yellow. Like everything's yellow. Dude. You know what I mean? Their teeth, they're not like better looking people back then. Like, I don't know. Smoking smoking kills you. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's a tough one. Like I really I'm grateful that the vices in my life are things that I feel like I can step away from, and I'm learning to control better every day that I can. But some vices are inarguably way harder than others. And nicotine's up there with some of the other really heavy competitors, like the opiates and anything like those kind of like hard stimulants kind of categories. So if maybe you got introduced to it at a young age where you're willing to try anything just to see what's happening, and then you end up smoking from 11 on, 12 on, like.
Sure. Well, imagine it's 1950 and
doctors are telling you to.
Hear my voice. They'll probably be like, you should smoke cigarettes. Opens your voice up. Right, dude, I'd be a chain smoker. You kidding me?
Yeah.
I would.
It would happen so quickly, you know, when someone tells you they got the answer. Man, how interesting is this, you know, the oncoming of, can you tell me the name of it one more time?
Muscle Tension Dysphonia.
Dysphonia is definitely like the name of an album that someone needs to make with like a horn band. Like, that sounds so rad. It's great.
It would be like misspelling, like dyspunkia. You know what I mean?
That could be rad. Like, dude, great word, hard thing. But
yeah,
is it odd to go through all these people that tell you they have the answer, or at least, you know, seem like they have the answer, but then you need to decide for yourself what made the difference?
Yeah, I think the hardest part is not struggling with it. Like, in general, it's like, am I going to go back and watch this? I don't know if I'm going to, because I don't know if I want to see myself talking like this.
Yeah.
Or like, please watch it, though.
Yeah. People just went, okay, I'm out.
Right. I'm done. No, it's the social environment things. Like, if you're stressed and your back hurts or something, people are like, how's it going? And the person's like, I'm good.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
they don't know, but me, it's like I have a freaking scarlet letter on my face. So like, and then they go, you know, the worst part is, yeah, people go like, what's up, dude? You know, like you can't hide it.
Yeah. But it's crazy how quickly you adapt to something like that too. Like I just listened to an episode of Rogan with Steve-O on it, and like
his voice, he sounds like, hey man, I'm Steve.
Dude, he has legit.
Yeah,
he has such like interruption in everything he says, but you know, it sounds like Steve-O. It's like, it's not like this is going to be forever for you. But in no way, shape, or form.
What if this is my key to fame?
Dude, what if that is it?
What if this is it?
People are like, you should listen to this guy talk and then listen to him sing. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then it starts going away because I'm more comfortable. I'm like, no.
Dude,
get that back.
God, that's hilarious.
Right?
And then you start smoking because someone tells you, like, that's the, okay, please don't.
If you listen to Lay Lady Lay by Bob Dylan, you know, the Lay Lady Lay.
I don't know that one.
It doesn't sound like Bob Dylan at all. But he had like the flu or something, and his voice was gone. He's like, we have to record this now.
That's so
and you
funny.
hear it, and you're like, that's Bob. He sounds like, can I play it?
Yeah,
like,
please.
Dude,
well,
listen to
we may get removed for playing it, so like,
oh, no.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what the legalities of that. We don't got that kind of hookup yet.
True. But dude, he doesn't sound like Bob. He sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But he never plays it because it like,
because you can't access. Well, it's like, it's like Louis, you know, like.
Oh, his voice.
What a wonderful
Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
He sounds like Cookie Monster, man.
You said that as if Louis played the Cookie Monster. Like,
no, like he sounds like Cookie Monster. You know, like, hey, man. You know, like,
Maybe that's where you got to go. Like, that was pretty clean.
He's got a good voice.
He has a beautiful voice.
It's so good.
It's so, if you listen to a show like The Voice, you're asking for technicality meets heart. And honestly, you find way more heart when there's less technicality. When there are particularities to someone's voice. Like, I was talking to my buddy Tim the other day, and like, this is one of my longtime mentors and my good friends, and we were talking about the difference between a background singer and a lead singer. It's like, you're not going to ask the lead singer to have every pitch perfect, every word phrased. It's like, this is the person that has the ability to tell story through consonants and dissonance, a little push and pull.
Bruce.
Yeah. Bruce is a great example of that.
And he's not a good singer, but he's a great singer.
Yeah.
Like a great lead. But would you have Bruce sing backup?
No. He's not capable of it. And
yeah.
And the great thing, or Mick. Mick is another one of those amazing.
Perfect.
And you can compare that to like a Steven Tyler, where like Steven couldn't sing backup because he sounds too much like him. So like a great background vocalist can hit every ooh and every ah with such beautiful enunciation that it cuts through a mix and things like that.
Have you heard "You're So Vain" by Carole King?
I've definitely heard the song.
Re-listen to it. It's Mick Jagger in the back, and I can't unhear Mick. When somebody told me that, I was like,
so
I'm like,
funny.
holy shit, it's Mick Jagger. Like, it is. And I heard that the song is about him. Which is funny because they probably think the song is about, you know what I mean?
Dude, and they would bring him in to sing background vocals. That's so cold and so funny.
It's awesome.
Like, that's such beautiful artistic irony.
Yeah.
How often do you write from, I don't want to call that a spiteful place, but like, your songwriting, is it experiential? And how often do you take it into a place of that kind of expression?
To be honest, every song I've written was not on purpose.
Nice.
Like, I don't have an answer. Like, some people go, I'm going to write a song every day. And statistics show that if I write 100 songs, one will be good. Me, I'm like, if I don't remember the song, it's not good.
Yeah.
Like, if I write a song and I'm like, okay, a week from now, if I forgot how that sounded, it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of the songs I write, the guys in the band can testify to this, but I'll become obsessed with it. And I'll be like, we're going to do that song over. We're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I'll only have one or two at a time.
Yeah. And is that what rehearsal is for you guys? Just like you spending time inside the song and learning that and kind of...
Tons.
Cool.
And more recently than ever. Like, the Grove practice used to be like, let's sit around and do our scales and like practice. And now it's like, we'll play the song once, stop, and go, what can we do better? And we talk. It's a lot of conversation, which is like totally different.
Yeah. Well, I've always found like, you and Jeff have a very deep, brotherly relationship in that band.
Yeah.
Is he the original drummer?
I've been playing with him since sophomore year of high school. Wow. So how old's a sophomore? Like 15?
Probably about that. Yeah, I don't know if you get your temps.
It's been 16 years, more than half my life.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And like, it seems like you guys are both sharing in the opinions of what goes on. Like you were the songwriter, but this is y'all's band.
For sure.
So when did Matt join the band?
I remember his first, it was probably like 2011.
Okay. And so y'all have been around.
Wow, it's been 10 years.
So this is right when you
I'm
come
like
back from
surprising
OU.
myself.
Yeah.
Like, what? It was 2013.
Okay. That's when you graduated?
Correct.
So is he driving up to OU during those years, or is he going to OU with you?
Right after college.
That's awesome.
And funny thing is, he and I are 4 years apart. So when I was a freshman in college, he was in 8th grade. Yeah. And he didn't play piano. He didn't play piano. So I would graduate at college, and I'm like, you can play piano? Like, I didn't even really know.
That's hilarious.
Right?
In your absence, he found something for himself in that.
Correct. I'm over at OU playing, like jamming, and like I come back, and I'm like, you can play?
Yeah. Man.
Like, all right, well, come on and fill in and do it.
That's
and
so
he was
cool.
pretty good.
there's like, you know, Bootsy and his big brother have a story of like, you know, mutual inspiration that like Catfish and Bootsy played together in James Brown and Parliament and in Bootsy's Rubber Band. They did all this stuff together, but it starts as like a little brother, you know, messing with your shit, and you know, you probably can't, like, you know, coming after him for that kind of thing. And you know, it's not that you have that story necessarily, or maybe you do, but there has to be some kind of internal push for him to say, you know, my brother's not here playing music, like, but I'm gonna be playing music. Like, we're not gonna not have this around here anymore.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to come back on after this so I can ask him about that, because like,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to hear his side of it. But it's so cool to have.
I'd like to know, and be like, tell me, Matt. I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
But it's got to take a level of humbleness to let anybody, especially your little brother, make a comment about a song, you know, especially when they're fresh in the band. It's like, no, they want to do things this way, you know? And like, and if you're saying everyone has equal part, you hear them out and like, check yourself, you know?
Yeah, at practice, there are debates. I'll say that. Debates. But to write a good song, you have to have your parts match. Because I'd say years of what we did, it would be like, I'm going to write my part. And I'll be, I'm going to write my part. And they'll listen to it. And I'm like, nothing's gelling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's hard. It's hard to play together without playing the same thing for a lot of people. Like that's been a big light bulb for me in the last couple of years. It's like there's something different between what are the chords and what is your part, especially as a guitar player. Like, I don't need 6 strings to fulfill my role here. So when I play those 6 strings, I have gotten in the way of my keys and my bass and my drums. So it's like, so now I have to change my part. The chord is still there, you know, that's still the structural integrity. But now when you're adding someone that is not only you know, a 10-note voicing, like a fat chord that someone can play, but it's also someone as close as a family member. So like, you know, there's a little bit more quick to jump, you know, like you guys have argued before, I'm sure, about many other things besides music. So when it's on in the heat of the moment, it's about the song. It's great to have that kind of like, well, shut the hell, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a little bit of fired up about it.
Sure, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh no, we're not doing that part. We're doing this part. And, you know, we debate.
Yeah.
We talk about it.
Yeah. My drummer, Nick, is very much like my partner that I'll argue things out with, like in a positive way. Like, he is a strong, audible leader in the cues. He's the drummer of the band. So guiding things well when I'm up there at the front with my back to the rest of these guys, like, we need to have a type of synergy going on there that he can lead if I'm trying to lead something. You know what I mean?
I mean, what do you think happened to Guns N' Roses? The synergy left.
Yeah. And then like
Oh,
that,
like,
that internal...
don't tell me how to play guitar, I'm Slash. Or don't tell me how to sing, I'm Axl Rose.
Yeah.
You know, when they wrote Appetite, they were nobodies.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're just serving together.
Yeah, they lived in a storage unit. Yeah, they didn't even have running water. They lived in a storage unit.
That's disgusting. That's
Isn't
so
it?
horrific.
Yeah.
How do you run a storage facility and let people live?
I don't know, dude. That's when they lived in L.A.
I want to know who the guy with this LLC is. Like, that's it. That sounds like the sketchiest character.
But
that guy should have credit on the Appetite for Destruction.
Have you read his album or his biography?
Slash? No.
It's good.
Okay, I could definitely get into. I've read Keith Richards, and I just read there's a Prince memoir somewhere over here that I really loved. I'm getting through this. The biggest book I've ever actually read is this Paul McCartney biography, and I'm towards the end. We're getting towards recent years, but man, it has blown my mind to hear from everything of like how they ran Apple back in the day. You know, what was the shortcomings of their first, you know, record company. To hear about their studio sessions, to hear about just the songwriting battles and the songwriting moments. Something you touched on, like, if you can't remember the song, it's no good. That's how McCartney and Lennon were. If you couldn't remember every single word, it wasn't the right word yet. So rethink it, rewrite it, rework it. There's a great story where he and Linda are walking around. They're somewhere in South Africa recording this album, and they get approached by some muggers, and they're going to take their stuff. So Paul has this bag full of lyrics and cassettes and all this shit for the studio, and they take that, and he's like, take it. He'd all of it memorized. He didn't care. So he goes in the next day. He's able to track everything, and it's fine. But what a crazy moment if someone in a foreign country was holding a knife to you and said, "Give me all of your work." Like they think there's something good in the bag, but it's actually just all your lyrics and all your.
Dude, the resale of that.
Yeah. Well,
oh my God! It's probably Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hopefully that guy went on eBay and flipped that shit later in life. Hopefully, because what if he threw it in the dump? What if he was like, "I just robbed the biggest dumbass walking around with a bunch of his notes in a bag. Like, what's this worth?" You know what I mean?
True. I don't know.
But yeah, man, it's such a great sentiment to have for your songs. Like, they have to be this good if we're going to track it,
If you forget it, it's not worth it because somebody else will forget it.
Yeah.
You know?
And what a great testament to, like, the surrender, to letting go of the things that you don't control in this life and just being there for the parts that you can, turn the light switch on and catch a little bit of that muse and share it with people and then spend time in the basement inside of that song and then take it to people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Adam, anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
Let's replug the shows.
Okay, cool.
Okay, you want to do it?
I would love to plug the Rock and Revival on March 11th at the Southgate Revival House. The fattest lineup of Cincinnati sweetness the world has ever known. A beautiful cause presented by the Grove.
Yeah, and it's all for finding a cure for glioblastoma.
Beautiful.
So,
and then December 4th at December 3rd at the OTR Stillhouse.
Yep.
By Knox. What the hell is that part of the name about?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm
going to find out.
Okay, yeah, please ask some questions for me.
I think it's a bar, but there's a distillery in it.
Interesting. Okay, and this is your Christmas show, which is also a benefit to.
It's called the Greater Project, and what they do is they find it's toys for tots.
That's beautiful.
For Cincinnati.
Awesome. And where can they find you at right now?
Where can they find our music?
Yeah, the music and your socials and all that.
The Grove Band.
Yeah.
That's our handle for everything. And then go on Spotify. It's The Grove. And yeah.
Kick ass. Thank you for coming, brother. You are the man.
Yep. Don't worry. I can sing. Woo-hoo. I can sing. Don't
Come
worry.
check this shit out. It's crazy. Right. Peace, brother.
Yeah. See you.
And that, my friends, is Mr. Adam Forsthoefel of The Grove. Make sure you get on your calendar. March 11th, the Rock and Revival at the Southgate Revival House. So let's talk about the dates coming up, everybody. I got a lot of good shows this weekend. Starting with this Wednesday at Pearls. We got some kind of ladies' night and a lot of wine deals going on. We also have a permanent jewelry vendor that I've already signed up to get some long-lasting friendship bracelets with my homie Kayla. And I really don't know what that all entails. So come check it out. Let's drink a bottle of wine together. Pearls on Wednesday starting at 6 o'clock. This Friday night, I'm going to Canton, Ohio with my friend Chandler Carter. That show starts at 8 p.m. It's been a while since we've got down duo style, but we're going to be grooving. Come see it. Every single Sunday night, you know the biz. I'm at Fishbowl at the Banks Players. Next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm going to be in Delray, Florida, visiting my buddy Corin, playing at the Tin Roof. I've never been down to this Tin Roof, so it should be a kick-ass good time. I'm also looking to rent a guitar while I'm down there. So players, if you got the hookup on 6 strings, let me know. Then Sunday, I'm back at the Fishbowl, 8 to midnight. 2 Thursdays from now, I'm going to be taking over the Crooner Circus at Big Ash Brewing. Show starts at 7 o'clock. As Noah Smith likes to say, shut up and let the songs do the talking. Come see us. We got a lot of great acts coming out. The 16th, I'm back at the Rookwood Pub. Show starts at 7 p.m. Let me refresh this. Refresh. Damn. Scrolling. The 17th, where is it at? The 17th, I'm going to be at Carlo and Johnny's. This is the first time I played Carlo and Johnny's as a solo artist. I played there all throughout high school on Wednesday nights with my buddy Tim Sylvester, just a young punk sitting in. So I'm looking forward to bringing my own brand of the funk in there. And then, as always, every single Sunday night, Fishbowl at the Banks. And then we got the Monday's Muse, the last Monday's Muse of the year on December 19th at Latitudes Bar and Bistro. Come check it out. We're also going to have a special edition of the Monday's Muse on December 12th at the Little Miami Brewing Company. So come check it out. That is it for the Weekly Wave, y'all. Episode 85. Thanks for tuning in.